Guys, it's been so long since I did another video. I am so sorry about that. I owe you all the biggest of apologies for my rip stage. To somewhat make up for it, this video will be like a variety show of sorts. It'll have a little bit of everything. You'll even get to know more about me. Yay! So I'll go ahead and kick this off with the release date news for Kingdom Hearts 3 first, since a few of you are unhappy about that. Honestly, I don't have any negative feelings towards the release date. For me, Square Enix held their word. I think the Keykeepers mentioned something about the lineup for certain games. On the schedule for game announcements, it had Kingdom Hearts 3 listed as coming out during the fiscal year of, I think it was either 2017 or 18 up to 2020. They followed up on that with a Toy Story trailer and had coming in 2018 at the end of it, which made, everybody happy. It was only later, as in around a few days ago, where an actual date was released for, I don't remember the exact date, I just remember that it was late January 2019. There was never a delay for the release date, in my opinion. Now, if they push the date back from the late January date to like late February or late March or even late June at the worst case, then yeah, you can be mad at the delay because they actually had a set date, but had to shove it back way to the middle of the next year. But for me, as I said, there was never really a delay, and Square Enix kept their end of the deal. A lot of people are high-fiving it up right now because they feel they called it, but I guess everyone forgot what a fiscal year was and didn't pay attention to the year range of that fiscal year. I mean, that's what happens when you're too hyped up. It's like watching someone else drinking water, but you getting a sugar rush. Hype is poisonous, and it will make you forget information that was already presented. In short, there was never a delay, and everybody needs to chill. Square Enix did their job. But on that note, I unfortunately won't be playing Kingdom Hearts 3 anytime next year anyways, and I wasn't going to be able to play it this year for sure. So the release date poison that's going around ain't flowing into my cup of good times. So here's where it gets a little dramatic. Because my living situation isn't ideal right now, and if I had to be even more honest, it hasn't been since high school, I'm going to be focused on moving out. It's just time, really. I overstayed my welcome a long time ago, and since I'm way more comfortable expressing this now than I was at the time, it's more of a family issue than anything else, really. It was starting to cut into my jobs, also. I had to call into work to stay home because of either an injury or some other bullshit. I ran up the numbers for how much I would need to save for a new house and started creating a budget for myself in terms of groceries, bills, etc. Essentially, I don't cost much, but I do cost. I mean, what do you want from me? I'm a girl. Because it's a lot of money in a short amount of time, I'm trying to make this happen by New Year's or Valentine's Day. I'll have to cut back on my nerding again. I stopped being a nerd because my grades were dropping in school. And if you all knew me back then you know I don't like failing classes and I want to graduate because, damn. I was in school for 8 years. Holy shit. Either way, though, games will be on the back burner for a while. With that said, I did mention that I owed you guys an apology for being dormant, like an old volcano in the middle of an ocean, and I do. But first, let me do a quick shout out to Blaze Azuki. I owe her a major apology. I was supposed to finish up my theory on the Master of Masters, right? I had my whole theory written out. As a matter of fact, I'll even give you guys a spoiler. Okay, so this is what I was thinking for the Master of Masters, assuming that he was evil. Okay, so on all of the versions of Birth by Sleep, I noticed that there were different Keyblades in the Badlands, as in Keyblades that shouldn't have existed during that time, but somehow did. Another thing I noticed was that in spite of the fact that Ventus existed in the past, his Keyblade looked nothing like a Keyblade from that time. Like, it's not a Starlight Keyblade or any other version of one. It's like his own. And everyone essentially had the same kind of Keyblade back then if they did certain missions in Proud mode or completed certain worlds in regular mode. I would expect the same Keyblades to be repeated over and over again in the field, but the cutscene where Luxu holds the no name shows that other types of Keyblades did exist. That meant only one thing to me. When you play Union Cross, you're already a Dandelion, reliving your memories of the past. In Key, you wake up in another world and never die in the Keyblade War because you chose to be a Dandelion. I think Unchained is where you're already a Dandelion, and you're being tested on your loyalty to the Dandelions. If you choose to be a Dandelion through and through, your memories will probably fully restore, and you'll enter an Unchained state like Ephemer. Only wielders who weren't chosen to be Dandelions battle it out, right? That's a lot of wielders. The Dandelions aren't that great in number. This would mean that those who reach the unchained state gain their own power and essentially form their own Keyblades. Because there are so many different Keyblades at the Badlands, I'm guessing that you don't have to be a dandelion to reach this state. It just helps if you are. If you reach this unchained state, you'll be able to contact others through dreams and probably live a life with the Union leaders. If, however, you don't choose to be a dandelion, then you drift off to other worlds. Kairi's grandmother and Master Xehanort knew about the Keyblade War when, in reality, if the memories of the dandelions were supposed to be erased, they shouldn't have known about it at all. Only Ericus, Yensid, and their master before them should have known because their master was a descendant of Lushu's apprentice line. Even the people of Radiant Garden don't seem to know about the story, and I think that's why. It's an elaborate loyalty program that tests where you'll go. If you remain a loyal dandelion, you live where they live, which is either Radiant Garden, Traverse Town, Destiny Islands, or Twilight Town. Radiant Garden is meant for those who exude the highest level of loyalty to the dandelions. Twilight Town is another level of loyalty that's probably second on the list and is more like a safe haven for the Union leaders. Destiny Islands is the beginning of the lower level of loyalty, but only because friendship is more valuable than authority. And Traverse Town is last, as dandelions might question the new leader's ambitions, since the previous foretellers all perished in the war. If they don't want to return to a world where the same thing could happen, they might not have a home to go to, and there's only one place I can think of where people go when they've lost their homes. This type of dandelion might still have friends and might even live with them as before, but they won't stay with the dandelions. Traverse Town is too advanced of a civilization to be a refugee camp. Here's a basic example of a refugee camp versus a recovering city. I'll take this a step further and say that the Land of Departure, aka possibly Cabletown, is solely meant for Lushu's apprentice line. He was the first to depart from Daybreak Town. He should have been the first to create a world where only his people would know of the true history of the Keyblade Wielder, meaning only his people would know about the ancient Keyblade War at all, and that Kairi's grandmother might have been an apprentice at the Land of Departure, but was the only one who left and started a family in Radiant Garden. Why she would leave Cabletown for Radiant Garden other than love or a simpler life is hard to say. I doubt it was detrimental to the secrets of Cabletown, however, if her master just let her go. At the time, Radiant Garden probably held no information about the ancient history of Keyblades, since Ansem the Wise, an intelligent ruler, knew nothing about it until Birth by Sleep happened. He even admits there was much to learn about worlds outside of Radiant Garden. He never left his world. Only students of Lushu's apprentice line go to other worlds. Even looking at the grandmother's appearance, she looks significantly older than these three men, so her generation of wielders is before them. Hence why I believe that Kairi's ability to wield a Keyblade doesn't actually come from her touching Aqua's Keyblade. In fact, I think it's because her grandmother was formerly a Keyblade wielder. Don't quote me on that, though, because I'm probably wrong. So if you're following me on this, I'm saying all of this to suggest that if the Master of Masters was in fact evil, then he purposely made Lushu's apprentice line knowledgeable about the ancient Keyblade War and purposely sought out a descendant of the actual traitor from ancient times. I'm thinking he protected the traitor from being discovered and let him live an otherwise normal life. Xehanort might actually be a living predecessor of the traitor and a guinea pig to see if Xehanort would be as successful as his forefather in destroying the worlds. So that was supposed to be a part of a much bigger theory I had on the Master of Masters, if he was really the evil guy everyone makes him out to be all along. It's not impossible for him to be evil, and I think he could have had a revenge plan in the works also. I'll have to come back to that at some point, because I owe Blazizuki this. So here's why I didn't post anything relating to the evil master plan that I was so ready to record. This is where it begins to suck. Again, I'm so sorry, Blazizuki. I know you requested this a while back, so here's that suckish explanation you needed to hear. So, when I typed up this massive theory, I was pretty proud of the way it was flowing. I had all my evidence, extra information, even a bit of mythology in there. And then I noticed, one day, that it was gone. So, one night, my little brother couldn't use our desktop computer to do his homework, so I loaned him my laptop to finish it. For whatever reason, he wanted to go onto his Microsoft account. Now, here's the thing. He was failing almost all of his classes, and this is the 8th grade. So, I decided to just change his password for a little while. Not to be mean or anything, just to get him to focus on his work. He could have had the password back when he got his grades back up. His information would still be there, save files, whatever he had on it would be right there. So my mom is a part of the security thing on his account. So she got a notification saying he was trying to access it, and she told him no. Right around then, he decided, know what? I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna delete my sister's shit. There. Now, since I can't use my stuff, you can't use yours either. Problem is, all the information I needed to move out, go to graduate school, complete my student research, start my graphic design side gig. I have a few pictures I can show you. They're dated, but a lot of people like them. So at some point, I might put up like a store or something for, my YouTube people. My subscribers. I don't really want to call you subscribers because I feel like we should be friends. So more of you guys, my friends. But I might put something up for that because I do want to get back into doing art. I just haven't done it in so long, and right now, because I'm so focused on trying to move out and get other things done, it'll be a while before I get back to it. But these are some of the pictures this is some of the work that I've done. I had to call into work, lose a whole day's worth of wage, and figure out how to get my files back because the information for me moving out and going to graduate school, that's crucial. I can't lose that. Especially my research. I spent hours on that. I even had some of it published in like a legitimate paper. So unfortunately, my YouTube theories were gone too because that was all part of, the stuff he deleted. But luckily, however, I didn't type all of them and I posted a few already. It was just annoying because he gets all his stuff back just fine as planned, but I'm stuck trying to recover and redo everything I ever worked on. It was worse. I actually was setting up a major art project. I wanted to do like a fan game. I have two in my mind. One of them I'm gonna do first for sure because I'm really interested in that one and I'm curious to see how it will turn out. And I also want to use another fan's theory to give it some backstory. So that's gonna be like one major project. I'll give you more details on that when I redo it all because I have to do that now. But I'll try to keep you guys updated on that because I am interested in developing this project because I've been recommended to get jobs or to apply for jobs at different video game companies because of the graphic design thing. I can draw you a good design. Now, what I can't do is like develop a game. I know some computer programming languages. I know C++. I'm getting into Java, but I want to learn more. So, I'm kind of trying to develop myself into doing that. But anyway, disregarding all of that, I did manage to get a new job, so I hope I do really well at it so that I can start saving way more and actually build up enough funds for insurance and a house. Both of those are crucial, which brings me to my next set of plans. So ignoring my life and its troubles, I do plan on continuing my theory series until Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out. My new job has me occupied for only 3 days a week, with a fourth being optional. I have longer weekends, so I can post on Saturdays and write scripts on Fridays. Sundays are reserved for my tiers when I realize that I still don't own a PS4 and I'm sharing a PS3 with my inconsiderate family members. Guess where I'm shopping for both these consoles? But here's where you get to learn a bit about me and gaming. Personally, I'm not a fan of the PS4 too much. I'm like the only person I know who doesn't care about it or is at least honest about not caring about it. I don't know what it is. It just never had a strong marketing factor. I played on it recently with the Crash Trilogy too. I didn't really like the way the controller felt in my hands. The gameplay felt like the original Crash game somewhat, but that somewhat was because I could feel something was more off with it. I wish I could explain it better, but the controls weren't a strong selling point for me. I tried to find other reviews of the Crash Trilogy to see if maybe there was someone else who had a similar opinion, but it looks like it's still just me. I've said this to Kingdom Crown before, but I am horribly old school when it comes to gaming. I don't need everything to be pretty and flashy to have fun. I just need a basic set of skills and weapons, appreciable bosses, great settings, catchy soundtrack, and a reasonable plot, if any is included. Sometimes games don't have those, and I don't mind that. But I also, like an element of surprise during exploration sequences, too. I don't even need a map, really. I'll just figure it out after my 9th attempt of running into the same wall that I marked with a bullet so that I wouldn't keep coming back even though I just went through 3 trapdoors to get somewhere else and just circle back around. Sorry, real life experience. But I didn't mind that form of gaming because it tested everything: your memory, tracking ability, path creation, coordination, and survival skills, essentially. You had to really think or really get frustrated to get past a level. But I stand by that basic set of stuff in the game. All that accessing menus in the middle of a fight nonsense is for the birds. There's only one game that I will allow to do that, and that's only because it was designed that way. All the buttons were used for something, but that was efficient to me. Making use of like every button for a different thing was. I like basic gameplay. Just give me a weapon, 2 decent base attacks, 1 clean combo, 1 finisher, and 1 magic skill, if you have it. If not, 1 healing item or place that can be accessed whenever necessary. That's all I really need. If you want to give me a variety, I'll try new moves out on lower level enemies just to test the waters. But I mean, it's just not my cup of tea, really. And I mean, I probably lost like half of you because of this round. You got what you like, I got what I liked. It's cool. Speaking of opinions, let me go ahead and give you guys my opinion about the new trailers we got. So here's where you learn a bit more about me. I am not a fan of the modern day princesses too much, to be honest. Which brings me to the Frozen trailer. Personally, I didn't like Frozen or the message it was trying to send because I didn't know what the message was. Some viewers tried to explain to me that the bond between sisters is stronger than any bond with a man, which is just saying family comes first. But my feelings toward that was that only works if the sisters know each other. Elsa made it a point not to even come out of her room to talk to Anna after the accident. That's a decade gone, and you're not talking to your own sister because you're scared of hurting her. What bond is there? Anyways, about that trailer. So the gameplay wasn't as impressive as the Toy Story bit, but it did look nice presentation-wise. The more I analyze the gameplay aspects of the game, the more I worry that it's getting to be too flashy and too much right now. It looks like there's no consequence for you activating stronger attacks either, so I guess that's my only concern for it right now. Content-wise, Larxene concerns me. I mean, the notion of some of the original Organization 13 members returning stopped making sense after Marluxia's reveal as a Union leader in Union Cross. It didn't make a whole lot of sense after Dream Drop Distance either. When Xemnas listed the different types of weaknesses that prohibited some of the members from being vessels for Xehanort, I assumed that Xehanort was going to need way more original characters to substitute his losses, because that was almost all of his members disqualified for the job. With Larxene being revealed as a new member, I honestly got lost because of her character history. She was the main one and the only one with Marluxia on his plan to overthrow Xemnas. Having her be a vessel does 2 things for me. 1, it actually justifies my original theory that Marluxia is stuck in a time loop, and young Xehanort has been pulling his vessels from times before their defeat. 2, it confuses me because now I don't know if she ever had a weakness to begin with, or if she was acting as a double agent to maybe protect Axel because she took a liking to him faster than anyone else, according to the manga. Now, she wanted Axel to sort of give her existence some kind of meaning, so I imagine that if you value someone to that degree, you wouldn't want them getting too close to an obvious danger. Now, Aqua's scenario just flat out confuses me, but not for the more obvious reasons. I've been trying so hard to connect the previous trailers to the new ones, but it looks like you really can't do that. I rewatched Blank Points from Birth by Sleep, then 0.2, and then the trailer when Sora picks up the Master Keeper. I even put all that information together to create a basic summary. So Aqua risked being in the realm of darkness to save Terra. Alright. She proves to herself that she is strong enough to return to her friends and keep fighting through her own trials against the Heartless in their territory. Okay. The worlds get restored, but she doesn't return to the realm of light, where Kairi should have seen her if we connect this to Kingdom Hearts 1 events. There's a plot hole for you. Instead, Aqua bumps into Ansem the Wise at the Dark Meridian and learns that Sora completed his grueling task of saving the worlds. There's actually a major contradiction there. Then she puts her Master Keeper in the waters and let it float its way to Destiny Islands after the events of Kingdom Hearts 2, where Sora picks it up and tries to find out who left it there. As you might recall, Terra tried to reach out to Aqua because he heard her voice in the darkness, but Xehanort ended up gaining control of Terra for a split second and got the location of Ventus in the Chamber of Waking. So here's where they lost me. Aqua Aqua clearly saw that Terra was struggling to regain control of his body, and that wasn't the first time that's happened, because that's how she ended up in the realm of darkness in the first place. So, why did you give your Keyblade away and leave yourself ultimately defenseless against a possible stalking Terra Xehanort? Xehanort knows that you're the only one who knows where Ven's exact location is, especially now that you told him because you weren't paying attention when Terra lost control. And you're just gonna leave yourself completely open to attack? Why? I'm really curious about Ansem the Wise's location too. He was obviously with Aqua. Where could he possibly go? My other thing is, since Xemnas is back, is it possible that he's the one who found Aqua and ambushed them? Or maybe it's something else? Because he's the only other character I know of who was at the Dark Meridian with Roxas. All of this is just messy to me right now. You can't really make true sense of it. Speaking of no sense, that Pirates of the Caribbean trailer, though. To me. Now, the real problem is Riku's bit with that other me sitting next to him. That triggered me a little bit because I don't know why that is. If it's Riku replica, why? He's dead. What was the purpose in having him come back? Why can't you just admit that it's over? There's no reason I can think of that would make that work. Now, a past self is workable. I would actually applaud that sort of move in the story, but the return of the replica? I don't know. Anyways, that'll conclude this really long video that I probably shouldn't have published in one sitting. I'm sorry for that, but let me just take the time to thank you guys for listening and subscribing to me. This is my shout out to everyone who's ever commented on a video, made a request for me, or even subscribed to me. It really does put a smile on my face when you ask for just a general opinion. I will try my best to get that revenge plan for the Master of Masters out of the way. Plus, I need to look into the zippers for the organization members. One of my commenters pointed out that the zippers have some similarities. So I'll look into that just because I think that might be something. Or there might be a clue to something. But I think both have symbolic imagery in them that might be worth theorizing on. Until the next update, my friends, I'll catch you later. Wish me luck on a new life and at my new job. I wish you guys luck, blessings, patience, and good fortune as we progress through the year with hopes, high hopes, that Kingdom Hearts 3 will be an enjoyable experience and that our lives will go on with no worries. Take care, guys.